All right, welcome everybody. Here we go. This is Dregn Durant of the Yasuhiro88ch, and welcome to our first session of Horizon Exploration, our channel's sci-fi tabletop RPG based off of the 5e system. Going in here with 5 good buddies of ours, and we're hoping to have a great time. So, let's see. Why am I getting... I'm already getting disconnection problems. All right. Let me know if you're out there. Let's see. I'm not seeing any getting a disconnect in the chat, but this was from a while ago. But if you're out there, holla. And let's get into it. Before we introduce the players, we're going to talk a little bit about what is Horizon Exploration. What are we doing here? And kind of set the stage for where the party is going to be starting this grand adventure. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, of course, immediately. Where is, there it is, there it is. All right, a little scuffed, but we'll get it, And here we go. So, welcome again, Horizon Exploration. This is going to be an ongoing tabletop RPG adventure, and this will happen each Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. Likely going to be 1 week out of every month that will take a quick, short little break, but you can expect it at least 3 days, 3 weeks a month, and those reminders will be available on the YouTube channel for the Yasuhiro88ch channel. All right. I am the game master, Dregn Durant. If you've been following the channel, you'll know a little bit of my breadcrumbed lore that I am an ex-security operator, now acting as the navigator of the Yasuhiro88ch, and the Horizon Exploration campaign serves 2 big goals. One is going to be the lore delivery mechanism for the channel and myself, and 2, it is going to also just be a fun game of D&D with some friends. Now, I'm a big fan of science fiction. If you can't tell from my pretty face here, and speaking of my pretty face, why don't we take this off? Hey, hello. All right. But the channel, right? This is a D&D game that I am hosting with some friends. It is meant to really just be, I started doing this live streaming stuff as a VTuber about 4 months ago. And I love playing D&D and especially running them. So why not go live and share it with the world? See if you guys enjoy the adventures that we tell and some of these various exploration of various planets and systems and races that we might have. And I'm glad to see you all here. So let's touch on one big aspect of the game. Now, this is going to be heavily homebrewed. So there is one big rule that will heavily impact the way the game works, and this is a mechanic that I'm coining Bleed Out. It is going to make a change to how typical death saves work. I was never a fan of, well, you're in combat, you get downed, and you're out of the fight. So, yes, this is my beautiful face. And if you are knocked out, you go unconscious and you're basically out of the fight. Right? Save for some healing and whatnot. So I, being heavily inspired by Darkest Dungeon, which is a fantastic, very grim, dark game, it's not so much that there is no death, it's that in combat, you are able to continue fighting, right? The players in my campaigns, I want them to be the heroes of the story, and what a punch to the dick if you get to 0 health and you're just like, you know what? I'm out for the rest of the fight, especially if some unfortunate rolls happen early in the game. So we're going to try out this new Bleed Out mechanic, which was loosely based off of a Death's Door mechanic that I had run previously. For those who have run games with me, might be familiar with that. But the core of this rule is that when you hit 0 health, you continue fighting, but the blunt of that blow that drops you to 0 will knock you prone. You then are under a bleed out condition, which at the beginning of your turn, you roll death saves rather than at the end. If you fail the death save for that turn, you lose your action, but you will retain your movement and bonus action. Again, the purpose here is to allow players to continue serving some action and purpose within the combat and within the story, right? Now, this is going to have a little bit of a risk and reward. Though you are able to continue fighting, if you succeed a number of death saves, you will still fall unconscious as you've gone through the limits of what your body can handle, and then you're unconscious as typical traditional D&D. However, on 3 failed saves plus a modifier with the Constitution, you are going to be required to heal a certain amount of health. Otherwise, your body may no longer be able to sustain after a period of time. Now, there might be exceptions to this, such as, well, we're not going to get into it yet, but there will be exceptions to this based on the circumstances of the situation, what tools might be available, what facilities might be available. And whenever you modify death saves, right, a big question is, what about stabilize? What about the spell stabilize? What do you do then? So what we're going to be doing here, and this is a slight change that my players, this will be new to you as well. If you, once per day, you can be stabilized to remove the condition. So, if you're fresh into a fight, you have the ability just to nullify it if a character has the ability, if a player has the ability to stabilize. Now, if there is a in-combat situation or mid-turn situation, right, a player who does stabilize an ally will be able to postpone the ill effects, right, by granting an automatic success at the start of their next turn. So this is, again, kind of the way I'm going to balance this, and we'll see how it plays out. But bleed out will be a core mechanic that hopefully we will see as tough situations arise within this campaign. A little bit of a lore tease. Now, this is the first 2 that I'm going to give you all for free. So the first one, the Horizon interface. What is it? You may have seen the term Horizon interface if you've been following the channel, but the Horizon interface is a communication framework that was invented by Victor Horizon. And the setting of the expanse, the universe, what a buddy of mine called, who was one of our players, coined the Dragonverse, is going to be set in the near distant future of 2277. And the Horizon interface, this framework, was invented about 100 years prior by Victor Horizon, which taps into what's coined as the Horizon Network, which is a vast information highway that was found across the expanse and originating from various sources among the stars. Now, for those within the human section of the universe, these are commonly referred to as cores, command origin reactor engines. This was the term coined by Victor Horizon, and this is what the players will be potentially come to know within the campaign. Now, the cores themselves, what are they? So the command origin reactor engines is defined by Victor Horizon to be something that he believes is a chance evolution within various variables out in the stars, but a combination of an immense power source and some form of advanced intelligence, whether this be artificial or synthetic or organic, is to be determined as the party eventually discovers throughout the campaign the possible origins of what these cores may be. However, the records thus far don't tell any signs of any artificial creation of such mechanisms, and only records of their discovery have been found. But through the interfacing of the Horizon Network, it is believed by scholars and scientists and whatnot that hundreds, if not possibly thousands, exist out in the universe. So, with that, let's touch very briefly on factions. There are 6 core factions within this campaign, and I will be teasing 3 of them. The other 3 are a bit more, we won't necessarily say elusive, but have more closed borders or may not be as welcoming as the 3 that we will see here. Now, I believe I might be covering up some of the text, so I'm going to hide myself while we talk about this. I'll be right back. All right. The United Federation is the future of humankind. And the United Federation, once they had access to the stars, spread rapidly. Now, again, this happened maybe 1-2 centuries ago, right? And the United Federation is encompassing roughly the umbrella of humankind within this campaign. Now, due to the inability of government to govern across the stars, the expansion and exploration and possible conquest among the stars has actually been spearheaded by corporations, which now govern various sectors, and they are the ones responsible for the expansion of humankind of sorts. There are a variety of corporations within this campaign, and we'll be touching on that in a little bit. But the United Federation is heavily governed, not just by the local governments of each planet, possibly, if you take the magnifying glass and go down into, cities and provinces, but at a more macro level, the United Federation is managed by a vast, not really a network, but a vast variety of corporations that have expanded throughout these systems. The next faction to introduce is going to be the Technician Collective, and these will be your traditional D&D flavors of dwarves, gnomes, very crafty folk and hardy folk within that lore. Within the Horizon Exploration universe, they are collectively known as the Technicians, and they work in very similar conditions, but are overall a very friendly, hardy race of people. Generally very cooperative, generally very open to trade and the exchange of goods. One of our party members, in fact, is going to be a technician as well, so look forward to that. And their little slogan here is For Omni Prime, which more on that is to come in the near future. And the final faction race to introduce, the Taxon Kindred, the Circle of Life. The Taxon encompass in traditional D&D the beast races. Any race that is borderline monstrous or beast-like. The universe is wide and varied, and the Taxon are a very spread out group of people, typically more nomadic than not, although there will be various Taxon that move about in larger communities, or some that really move about more in, say, the scope of a planet, right? So some are interstellar, some are not. They're varied. The level of beast features will be highly varied as well. So it's a very large group of people within the expanse of the universe. But also, again, each community is fairly unique. And though we will not be seeing the Taxon immediately, they are one of, again, the more friendly races within the stars, and one open to trade and barter and interacting with the United Federation. All right. As we start to get into the campaign and introducing some of the players, touching very briefly on corporations. So again, corporations are a heavy part of the lore of the world, and deities, gods have been long overshadowed by science and technology and exploration of the stars. That's not to say that some otherworldly shit might not go down. Some unknown entities may still make their appearances, something that is maybe unexplained or unknown. But in general, within the bounds of the United Federation territories, corporations are above all. There's two that we're going to introduce as we get into the campaign. Dynasty Solutions is one of the largest and longest known corporations within the United Federations that even have roots back to our loving Earth. Earth does exist within this universe, but it is quite far away, more at the heart of the United Federation territories, and our party will be beginning more along the outskirts of the United Federation territories. But the Dynasty solution is very highly regarded for their advancements in various fields, their contributions to each of these fields, whether it be security, technology, finance, medical. It really begs the question: what is Dynasty not involved in? And speaking of what is Dynasty involved in, however, Advanced Biosciences Corp is a medical and research corporation, a subsidiary of Dynasty Solutions, or underneath Dynasty Solutions. And they are one of the prominent organizations on the outskirts of the system, especially as they tend to act very autonomously from Dynasty and their initiatives. But Advanced Biosciences Corp, short known as ABS Corp, is involved in the local area where the party will be starting. And I believe the next one will be starting to introduce some of our players. Yes. So the journey begins. I hope you're all ready for this. But let's kick it off with Koji Akiyama, who is played by, and let me actually get myself moved up to where everyone else is. All right. Hello, party members. Nah, you don't necessarily have to, but we're going to be kicking things off by introducing the party. The party here, each individual as we get through it, have all come from various locations nearby the starting sector where we'll be beginning this campaign, and more on those locations once we introduce our players. But first, we have Koji Akiyama, played by Corey. Are you there?
Hello.
Hey. Anything you'd like to share about Koji, and maybe anything that you'd like to share about your D&D experience with the audience here?
Well, start off with my D&D experience. I've got probably about 7-8 years now. I don't remember exactly when I started, but I started in 3.5, kind of played a couple of games there, slowly moved my way over to 5e, played a couple of campaigns here and there. Actually DM'd for you for a little bit, for a while. Really fun game.
Yeah.
About Koji though, Koji is he's an angry boy, big meathead. Comes from a criminal syndicate type organization. Definitely in line for inheriting it, but not quite up there. Yeah.
Cool. All right. We're going to be learning more about Koji as we get into it. He is definitely a very angry boy. The party did do a session 0 off air, and I got to experience Koji's wrath firsthand, and I'm very excited to see how you all experience him. All right.
Or bartender.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here to our next party member, Dario Cortez, played by Sergio. Where are you, Sergio?
Hello there, Dregn.
Hey. So, why don't you also share a little bit about your D&D experience and maybe a little word on Dario?
Sure. Well, kind of similar to Koji. Kind of start off with my experience in D&D. I think it's been about 2 years since I started, on this experience. You've been the DM on a couple of the games that I've been a part of, and really enjoyed it, and super excited to be a part of this new one and this new journey that we're all going to be taking together. And
Very
as far
fun.
as for Dario, what I'm going to say is he has a very calm mindset, and though I will say when it comes to any mission or something important that's going to matter to him, he is very much a planner. I think I take a lot of that myself, so you're going to see a lot of influences in Dario and how he makes his decisions, and how I'm going to be, assuming that Dario is going to be taken in as well too.
Fun. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Next up, we have Maxine Beck, played by Sean.
Hey, how's it going? I am Sean. I am Asbiel on the internet. I am a professional game master for TTRPGs, primarily D&D 5e. And I've been playing D&D and other TTRPGs here and there for a little while now, like 8 years ish. Really looking forward to seeing where this is going. Maxine Beck is kind of, I suppose, closed off would be a good way to put it. Knows how to follow orders and things like that. So we'll see how that gets on with the rest of this crew.
Very fun. Yeah. Maxine's big session 0 highlight was you ate a granola bar, right?
Half a granola bar.
Yeah, half a granola bar, even better. So we're looking forward.
All the way done.
Nope. We're looking forward to what Maxine's going to bring to the table here. Yeah. All right. Very fun. Let's move on to Sam Stonewill, played by Peter.
Hey everyone, yeah, my name's Peter. Playing D&D a couple years now. Of the group here, I think I only know Sergio. You guys will know him otherwise by Dario. I've always only played like short characters, so I think the one I haven't played yet is a dwarf. So in this game, I'm playing Sam Stonewill. He's a big fella, but he's small, and then because he's a dwarf, he's a good-looking motherfucker. So that's who I'm gonna play, and I hope we're gonna have a lot of fun in this new campaign.
Cool. Very fun. Yeah, I was wondering about you and playing short characters. I was like, this guy really likes short.
He makes me think of the dwarf from the Chaos Seed series that runs the blacksmith.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I don't know that series.
I know Dreggen's read it.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, the dwarves in that series are different.
But the voice made me think of the one line where he says, "You can only tell." You can only tell the true height of a man when he's laying down.
Yeah.
And it's the reference to the fact that. Okay, he got the reference.
Only tell the true height of a man when he's laying down.
Yeah. Exactly.
There you go. Nice.
Perfect.
And speaking of our party members here, that last voice there, Caden Lumen, played by Calvin.
Hello, I'm Calvin. I'll be playing Caden Lumen. I've been playing D&D since I think it was 2016. My first actual official game was with you guys, Az and Dregn. Eventful, but that was my first game. As for Caden, he's a odd character to say the least. We'll learn more about him as we play. I don't want to give too much away, but it should be interesting, fun, and eventful. So I'm looking forward to it.
Caden is definitely going to be a bit of the wild card, I think, in the entire campaign, not just the party, due to some things that, we'll see how they evolve and expose themselves as we play. But these are the 5 party members who will be kicking off this campaign with us on the Yasuhiro88. And with that, I hope you're all ready. Let's get into the setting. So each member has come from a few different locations to a planet called Aurora Green. And Aurora Green is owned by a corporation, an organization known as the Akiyama Group. Now, Aurora Green, about a decade or two ago, was actually a very Earth-like and beautiful planet. Much of it was known for the very vibrant Aurora Borealis that would not only occur near the poles of the planet, but even reach down closer to the equators. But about a decade ago, some event had occurred nearby or on Aurora Green that has not been explained by the local authorities, but is currently being investigated by Dynasty and the local government. Now, no one quite knows what happened or what occurred, so these types of events are often remarked as event horizons, where what could you have done about it? But on the orbiting Aurora Green is quite a large space station known as Bora Station. Bora Station is actually owned by Dynasty Solutions. Much of the population, after, we'll call it a catastrophe that occurred, has been migrated from planetside, evacuated, I should say, to Bora Station, and many that could not afford to move to perhaps a different planet or a different location are now living on Bora Station almost as like refugees. Some have actually, in the time that they've been here, been able to make somewhat of a life for themselves. And Bora Station, under the, I guess, leadership of Dynasty Solutions, has grown to be effectively a small metropolis in orbiting a planet. So quite a large station that our party members have all collected to with the promise, and in some cases maybe a directive from those that they know, to perhaps go on an well, what's the word? Expedition down to Aurora Green for promises of riches and rewards and what else the party may find. So once the group had arrived at Bora Station, after they traveled about the station, some of them had gone drinking, others simply kind of went to make a report and stand by. But after a while, the announcements would go off saying that Dynasty is ready to begin the briefing of this expedition that they have been so heavily pushing and actually transporting on their own dime people from across the system to Bora Station. Once the party had gone to the meeting area known as Callista Hall within nearby the hangars of Bora Station, they all gathered in a large, an auditorium of sorts, a meeting hall of sorts, and a fairly kooky man with messy hair and a lab coat had come out, known as Dr. Kelso. And Dr. Kelso gave everyone a short little spiel about what Dynasty is hoping to accomplish on the planet, what is promised to these brave adventurers, scientists, mercenaries who have gathered to go and explore on behalf of Dynasty, again, with the promise of something in return. After going through a 3,652 page contract, which all of the players had decided to simply skip to the signature sections and sign, they had been ushered off into various lines to then go through some sort of an evaluation. As the group then were all fastened to these, what did I call them? I don't think I gave them a name, but it was a chair. Yes, you're correct. But they all were ushered to rooms that each had 8 chairs that were very high tech in nature, did not quite look like medical in nature, but they did have armrests with kind of band straps that were attached to them, lots of wires, and there appeared to be some kind of a headset that would be lowered down over the head. Each member did not complain or resist as they were directed to take a seat, and helpers of Dynasty had helped to fasten these individuals onto their various harnesses. And one party member here, Caden, what did you decide to do?
I tried to sabotage the equipment.
You sure did, and do you remember what happened?
I put some juice of electricity into it, and we were waiting to see what happened.
Yes. So I think with that, let's actually switch over to a proper interface here. Here we have it. And let's get myself up. Since we're getting in, we'll go ahead and get my helmet back on as well. And why are my party members not showing up? Give me a moment, folks, to see why we're not seeing anybody.
Immediate technical difficulties.
I know.
Or are we all turning our mouse off if that's what you're looking for?
No, so off on the left, I don't know if you can see these boxes that are appearing, but I had it set up just before stream where each of you should be appearing.
Oh, that, right.
And
okay.
for some odd reason, that has stopped. Ah. It looks like I have been disconnected, and see if it pops in. Odd. Let me go check my source here. Perhaps. No, all of you guys are correct. All right. I will do one quick test. If that doesn't do it, then we may just have to continue with audio only until I get this sorted out. Cache refresh. Oh, there's one. There's two. Oh, disappeared. You folks are able to see Sam at the top, right?
Yes.
Sam, say something.
I see that handsome fella.
Ah, it's lighting up. Okay, it's working.
Yep. So one of you guys is working for some odd reason. Oh, there is a second one. It's being difficult. I know. F in the chat, please. Typical. You go live and this is what happens. Go figure. All right. Maxine is showing up. Caden is still not showing up. All right. Can I get you guys to briefly disconnect from the Discord and join back in? I feel like that might have something to do with it.
Any luck?
Let's find out. Wah, wah. All right. Hopefully our party members will pop in here, but we will try to continue without it for the meantime. I will periodically try to switch back.
Important people are here.
True. Very true. I'll do one more refresh.
I was just thinking about how to word that. You beat me to it.
Oh,
Got one more.
there I am.
This is the highlight of the stream, everyone. Caden is there.
The suspense. Will the other ones work?
Dario is still missing for me. And who else?
This is
Caden
what
is
we're
also
taking a
missing.
highlight reels.
I know.
It's riveting.
Why is it being so difficult? I can see all of you on the Fuji side. All right. Perhaps it will come back in a little bit. Let's also... I'm also going to set them each up to refresh. So if I try to push you off screen, I don't have to move and do any back-end shenanigans here. All right. We'll be continuing here shortly, folks. Refresh when inactive. All right. Oh, and apparently that ruins it. All right. So we will continue with audio today. We will try to get it figured out why we're not getting our reactive images working for our party members here. But at the top of the screen, you'll see the tokens for each of our members. And continuing with Caden, his attempt to affect the machine in some fashion.
We can be honest, it was sabotage.
Sabotage, fine. We'll go with sabotage. But you will have the option, or not you have the option. You had the option, right? I believe you cast a ability that is that the damage type is based on a dice roll, Chaos Bolt, right?
Yes.
And using Chaos Bolt, you rolled for lightning because you roll
lightning
twice.
Or psychic, but I got to pick.
Yep.
I picked lightning because psychic would have done shit all.
And the effect that your lightning had on the machine was you did manage to sabotage it. However, the sabotage, instead of releasing you or providing something of value, instead caused the machine to almost what you thought was to maybe shut down or accelerate. And Caden, you felt a sting on the bands that were attached to your wrists as they began to kind of wind into position and fixate, while you felt a slight burn coursing through your arm and your vision had faded. The rest of the group was, once seated, you were prompted with various questions on a interface that was shown to you on the screen. And it was asking things, what's your name? put some basic information into the or speak basic information, your height, your weight, maybe some questions regarding your specialties, your skill set, basically a very high-tech interview of sorts. And as you were continuing, Caden, your vision has gone black, right? The voices around you muffling as it happened, and you're not really sure what it's all about just yet, but Caden is having a nice snooze at this point. For the rest of you, as you begin to complete your various questions, you feel a little sleepy kind of while you're answering all these mundane questions. But once you reach the end, you are then prompted that thank you for completing this survey. You will be moved to a training hall to test your skill set. And this comes through in a bit of a robotic tone through the headset that you're wearing. And you find yourself being released. And there are now signs and lights that are pointing down the corridor as your door that you were within unlocks and allows you to leave. And these lights are kind of directing you in a path very similar to what you might see from emergency lights or maybe even within an aircraft of sorts.
Before I leave, can I look around and see if there are any items I can pick up? Any gear? I do look around.
Sure. Look around and give me a perception if you're just generally looking around, or if you're looking for something more specific, you can give me an investigation with a description. All right. Giving the room a look about, you see that there are various different built individuals who are getting up out of their chairs in the room that you are in. All of them, save for a couple, immediately just begin to follow the lights that are leading them out of the room and to the right down the hall. As you look about where they got up from, you see the chair, you see the headset, which has now risen, and the cuffs and the sensors which have released themselves, and the monitors that are within the sides of the seated area that you were in have gone blank with a bit of an idle kind of screensaver screen. You looking around, you don't see any materials. This is a very clean, oddly clean room. And aside from some curtains that kind of separate the neighboring chairs, there doesn't really seem to be anything loosely lying around that you could take. But also with your roll, you don't really see a whole lot that is worth of any value that isn't just sitting there. So
I do see the other people. I shout out, "Hey, are you all awake? You guys okay?"
Who are you speaking to? The folks that are leaving or the folks that are kind of lagging behind?
The folks that are still in the chair.
Sure. The ones in the chair, there's two individuals. There's a man and a woman kind of sitting across from one another. The guy looks a bit tired, but he looks up at you. "I'm fine. Why do you ask such a question? I mean, my eyes are a little sore, but otherwise, looks like we need to head to some kind of a training area."
Yeah, that seems to be the case. If you're feeling fine, let's get up. Let's move. I don't want to stay in this box any longer.
Yeah, lead the way. And while you were speaking with this gentleman, the female had already kind of moved along behind you and walked out the door.
I follow her.
All right. As you head out with this gentleman in tow, the rest of you are still seated, or have you also begun to head out into the hall?
I'm still passed out, correct?
Yes. Caden, you at the moment are having a beautiful dream about better days.
Ooh, butterflies. Love butterflies.
Yes.
I feel like I'm don't have any reason to wait around. I'm going on to the next destination.
Okay.
I'm gonna get up, kind of grab the duffel bag. You said there were like scientists in the room, correct?
There were, and as you go to reach for your duffel bag, the duffel bag has been moved. And you look around, and the duffel bag doesn't appear to be within sight.
Oh fuck. Koji's gonna start frantically looking around for it. If there's no scientists in the room anymore, he's gonna start asking the other individuals, "Hey, you guys seen anybody come here and take my bag?"
Koji, give me an investigation as you frantically kind of look around the room for this duffel bag of yours.
All right. Is there an easy way to do like a D20 roll in Foundry?
A D20 roll. You can do a /R D20 in the chat. And speaking of Foundry, Foundry is, this is my first game doing Foundry D&D, and I believe for a handful of individuals here as well. So hopefully we will see some improvements in the short time to come. But were you able to find that? There it is. And is your investigation bonus 0?
It's -2 actually.
Okay.
So that's a 6.
Yeah.
-2.
With your panic, you don't seem to spot the bag. You're not really looking very carefully. You're really just kind of looking around the surfaces, looking around the corners of the rooms, along the walls, under the chairs, behind the curtains, and your bag would be fairly obvious in this relatively white lit room. And looking around, it doesn't seem to be anywhere within sight. While you were frantically looking around, the others seem to have departed. However, as you kind of lag behind, you hear a bing that goes off near the door. Koji Akiyama, please proceed to the training area.
Give me my fucking bag and I will.
Give me the fucking bag. Processing. All equipment have been transferred to the landing shuttlecraft. You will have access to your supplies once you complete your training.
He's gonna kind of give the room a last once over and begrudgingly, very, very begrudgingly, storm off down the hallway.
And that one last look over, just a very interestingly neat, clean room, all things considered, but no duffel bag in sight. All right. Is anybody else looking about or looking to do something in particular, or will you all be heading to the training area, the evaluation area?
As I'm leaving and walking around with all these folks, do I see Caden? I look for Caden, and I walk to him if I see him. If I don't, I'm gonna walk back to the other ships. I'm gonna try to find the other ships to try to find Caden.
When you say the other ships, what do you mean?
Other rooms.
So, looking around, you don't see Caden. In fact, many of the rooms that you walk past are closed. In fact, the only room that you see opened was the one that you had come out of. And the individuals that are walking one ahead of you seem to have, or at least the ones that had left earlier, seem to be now out of sight. Now, up ahead, you do still see the rough shape of the female figure that is walking down the hall. And behind you, you do hear the steps of the other gentleman that you were speaking to.
I ask around, I ask the gentleman, "Hey, did you see this man I came with? Tall figure, a little pinkish, doesn't know how to work his Omni tool."
I don't know what you're talking about. There was hundreds of people in that hall earlier. A few of them looked pink, but nah.
I didn't want to get left behind in your room.
I didn't see anybody. I think we were the last ones out.
All right. Shit. and I storm off, and I want to ask other people that didn't come from my room if I group up with them. I want to ask them if they've seen Caden.
Sure.
Also, on another note, we should do descriptions of our characters.
Well, we there's a place that'll happen. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So
Episode 10.
shut up. All right. As you all continue down the hall, and Sam, as you kind of scurry forward to try to meet with the others, Sam, you realize that the halls actually were very well lit when you first entered out of the room and into the hallway, and the lights were very clearly pointing in the direction that you're heading. But the longer you move in that direction, the further the people in front of you seem to get, and the darker the distance seems to become. And eventually, all of you will be seeing a new location as you arrive at... Oh. Let me go ahead and activate this. You guys should be moving over here. Oh, and apparently I have forgotten to give myself a vision. That's interesting. Now, the rest of you, are you able to see vision?
I see my token, but otherwise it is a void of black.
Okay.
I have my corner.
It is supposed to be a void of black. However, do you see a radius around you?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, some of you do. Maxine, that was you, right? That didn't?
Right.
Okay, I see what happened with you.
When you say
That should be
radius,
good.
we're in this room.
You guys are in this room. You guys are actually not together. I just don't want to do this 5 times. So we're going to go through it quickly, one by one. Now, question is, how can I give... Is there a way to give a player vision without giving all players vision?
Is there a way to like unblind somebody and blind everybody else?
That's what I'm wondering, which... I don't see the option to, so I might actually just piggyback off of each of you. Give me a moment here to make that change. That doesn't do it either. Alright, well, if all else fails, I'm just going to give global vision, and we'll do it that way until I figure out how to make my camera user have a vision of his own. Because observer doesn't do it. Okay, so I have to make myself an owner in order to see it. Alright, so we'll do that, and I'm going to have all of you give me initiative rolls, and that'll determine who will start this little training session here.
It's not letting us do that because there's not an active combat encounter. I didn't even realize that was a limitation on this.
I have to make one, huh? All right, you should be able to now. There we go. Thank you.
That's astonishing.
Oh no.
And looks like we
guess,
are missing... Oh, you know what? Although we are missing Caden, yeah, Caden, you are actually going to be my vision for the encounter here, because you, unfortunately, are still knocked out. And speaking of being knocked out, let's have you give me a Constitution saving throw. This will be a good time for that. Caden?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Can you give me a Constitution saving throw?
Yes, I can.
And your token is going to be my token for this
What do you
moment
mean by
here. It's going to be my vision token.
that? Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because you
Constitution.
are unconscious. Nice.
Ooh,
all right.
Wow.
So, within this training room, each of you are going through a training area to evaluate your skills. And within each room, and actually let me go ahead and give you guys global lighting because we don't need to do restricted lighting here. Global lighting. Work? No.
No, I'm still seeing the room.
That should have done it.
My eyes.
All right, cool. So there are a series of rooms that you guys will be progressing through here shortly, and we'll be going through this one at a time. But Caden, with your roll of 19, that actually gives you a little bit of information. So as you lie there on the chair unconscious, you begin to kind of come to. You feel a bit of a jolt running through your veins as it begins to, what's the word I'm looking for? You come around. However, you're still a bit groggy as the environment around you is still dark. You feel through the haze, you feel that you're still bound and the headset still is around your head.
Mhm.
You also hear what sounds like some muffled noise coming through, almost like the other side of glass or a door. You're not really sure what it is, but you feel like you're hearing the sounds of muffled voices. And you also have a sense that you're in motion.
Okay. So can I look around? Can I see right now? Is everything a little blurry?
So with the visor, your vision is black. You do, through again a bit of muffled sound barrier of sorts, you're hearing muffled voices, and your hands and your legs and your neck is currently still kind of bound to the chair.
The same. Okay, so I'm in the chair. I haven't been like rebound. I'm still in the chair.
As far as you can tell, it seems to be the same chair as you.
I'll call out to the people, I guess. Hello? What's going on?
You go to try to call out, and through the grogginess, you realize that it's almost like your entire body is numb, and your voice kind of just moans out.
Oh. I'm gonna just wait till they stop. Like, I don't want to try and escape till I know what's going on. So I will wait till, like, I get put down or someone comes over and does something, or I'll just wait it out for now.
Okay. We're gonna go through two individuals who are gonna run through this little simulation, and after two individuals move, if you'd like to do anything new, we'll switch over to you. But with the initiative, first up, we're going to have Koji make a run through as in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys. Oh, guess I can't move you on this side. I got to move you on this side. Oh. Move you here. Move each of you guys up a little bit. Oof, come on. Ignore the ping. All right. Koji. Once you walk down the hall in a bit of a frenzy, you find yourself facing a long corridor. And within the corridor are a few kind of sandbags that are off to the sides. Now, these seem to be just very simple kind of obstacles of sorts. And let me see here. What you see ahead of you is a series of target dummies of sorts. And I don't really know, where's my draw tool? There it is. So what you find is there seems to be a door in the distance, as well as a series of, oh, I wish I could make proper circles. A series of dummies that you are being tasked, according to a little notification panel, to try to clear the course as fast as you can and take out as many targets along the way. So in this room, you see 3 targets up ahead. And once you pass into the next area, we'll go room by room. But you have 4 rooms to progress through. How would you like to go about this?
Well, first, whenever he sees him, he's gonna kind of stop for a second and fucking long ass hallway. The fuck is this? Kind of take a quick look at the targets.
And as you look at the targets are kind of holographic wire figure humanoids of sorts. Seems to be some sort of like an augmented reality training room of sorts that they are using for the evaluation.
All right. He's gonna run up to this one and take a swing at it.
Okay.
Still gotta learn how to do Foundry.
No, good. So one thing I've noticed is that you can double click your token, which will quickly open up your character page. And then from there, you should have then the ability to select your attack. Why can't I select anything anymore? So actually, speaking of which, did you happen to add your fists to your sheet? I don't recall.
It's under a feat, which is fighting initiate unarmed fight.
Okay, and let me see here. Yeah, it looks like it's there. So if you highlight that and hit the little dice roll that's to the left of it, does that push it through? There it is.
That does the D8, but that's not the one to hit.
All right. We'll have to get that added to your character page later. But yeah, go ahead and just give me an attack roll using your, what was it, strength, right? And we'll just calculate it separately for the time being. Ooh.
Oh, damn.
Very nice. All right. You quickly run up to the target and just obliterate it. It shatters into cube-like virtual pieces that just shatter and splatter and vanish across the wall and floor.
All right, run over to that one if I can.
You sure can.
Take another swing at it.
Do it.
Aiming probably for the chest, upper chest or neck.
Okay. All right. Another hit. And actually, you know what? You don't even need to roll for damage because these are artificial, what's the word? Constructs. You land a blow, quickly striking it around the neck, and it also shatters in almost what feels like a cool mist, although you know there's no liquid present here.
Ah, that's fucking cool. Then turn around, probably elbow the third one.
All right. Another simple hit, and you do a little turn with an elbow leading the way, which quickly obliterates this holographic image as well.
Easy as fuck. All right, what you got next for me?
All right. You're going to move on to the next room, or would you like to do something else? As the door in front of you, are you able to see that door?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. It begins to light up with a sign saying next.
All right, I'm going to walk through it.
You open the door, walk through it, and then go ahead and wait at the entrance of the next area. And we're going to go ahead and proceed kind of in turn order, room by room, now that you've completed the first. So next up, Dario, how would you like to approach the holograms, which respawn as soon as Koji leaves in the same locations?
Well, first, as I enter the room, I look around to see if there's any cameras watching me.
looking within the room, and do ignore the pings. I need to figure out how to stop that. But you look around and give me an investigation roll for you. All right. You look around the room, and the room seems pretty plain. There seems to be a tiled kind of setup with the walls and the ground, very Portal-esque if you're familiar with that game. However, there is a complete lack of any sort of machinery. In fact, the only thing that seems to exist within the white walls is the kind of holographic overlay that seems to be creating this kind of training simulation with the holographic humanoids that you see up ahead.
Well, the first thing I do as I enter is I attempt to run towards the object on the right side and attempt to slide as I run fast and try to trip it across the feet.
Okay. Go ahead and make that move. You should be able to move your toe. Oh, hold up. Let me make sure your token is within the bounds. There you go. You should be good now.
So with the speed, I run towards the right one and try to attempt to trip it at the feet.
All right. Let's see it.
Would that be a regular strength, I'm assuming?
Yeah, if you're trying to do a trip attack, I believe is going to be strength based. Yeah. Not only do you do it, you swipe both feet out from under this holographic image as the legs shatter away and the body sinks down and shatters in front of you.
With a bit of a smile, I go towards the left and attempt a punch right at the head.
All right. Go ahead and do an attack. Nice. That will also easily connect with the figure, and once again, you smash his head, and it shatters.
Finally, with determination, as I run towards the one at the bottom of the room, I attempt one more time to kick it into the center of mass.
All right. As you go to kick this hologram, you do manage to kick it. However, without the resistance of a typical body, you actually kind of fall through it. And with the leg, maybe, what is it? With your kind of like a Spartan kick is what I'm hearing. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. You do successfully destroy the hologram, but you do lose a bit of your balance without that standing force from a physical object that would normally take the blunt of such a blow. However, you are successful, and if no one else was here to see you, so none the wiser.
I collect myself as I get up. I brush off my clothes to make sure, get off any dust as I look around to see if there's any way out of here.
Okay. And now that all three holograms have been defeated, you will also see that the door ahead of you seems to have unlocked and has a sign above it that says next. However, before you continue, Koji, we're going to flip back to you so you can get out of this room, and then we'll go kind of the mini golf layout of progress through these stages here. Koji, in front of you, you see, well, in front of you, but within the room, you see another three targets. Two close to your left, one far to the, or sorry, two close to your right, one far on your left.
All right. First thing he's gonna do is run up to this one and attempt to pick it up.
Sure. Go ahead and give me another strength roll to try to pick it up. And as you go to kind of go pick it up, simply interacting with it, you actually kind of do two upward slashes that destroy the hologram in front of you, and it just shatters.
Ah, that's boring. walk over to the one in the corner here, give it a good old jab.
Okay. A bit underwhelmed with what just happened. You go to give it kind of a light jab, and this time, maybe it's the way things are kind of augmented in this room, but you actually find that you kind of lose your balance slightly as you almost feel like you got knocked to the left, and your jab doesn't actually connect.
Alright, you know what? Fuck you. Try and give it another punch. Obviously that one doesn't work either.
Close to obvious, but you go to make the punch, and this time it does connect, though not a blow that you'd be proud of. However, you get the sense that you got thrown, almost not really thrown, but nudged in a direction by some unknown force, and you again kind of stumble a half a step as you feel like your equilibrium got thrown off.
Alright, whoever the fuck's fucking with me, stop it. Try to clear this shit so I can get my bag.
No response, but your voice echoes in this room.
God. Alright, whatever. Go to the third one and attempt to punch it again.
Okay. And this one will easily connect, and you wipe it out.
Sweet. Good to move on to the next one.
If that's what Koji does. So
Yeah, knew I was better than that.
all right. Dario, we're going to have you move to the next room as well as you continue. And per our turn tracker here, Sam, you're going to be up next.
Walking into the room, I see the same 3 targets. And I bring out my Warhammer off my back. And the first thing I do is I click a button, and the tip of the Warhammer starts to grow a little glowing white. That's not how you activate a spell in this.
Your spell isn't a D1 or a D6 one?
Well.
What are you trying to activate
Anyway,
here?
Searing Smite.
Gotcha.
Anyway, the Warhammer glows at the top, and I run directly at the one to my left, and I charge at it, and I take a swing.
Sure. Let's see that attack roll. All right. You go to make a swing, and though it was a bit sloppy, you do manage to connect, and the object in front of you shatters into pieces.
As I'm hitting and I spin, I'd take a incendiary grenade off my bandolier, and I chuck it at the far one across from me.
Okay. You're talking about the one back here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That will... Is that the attack roll or is that the damage? Oh wait, this is a reflavored ability, right?
Correct. I didn't change any way about the way it hits.
Yeah, it's a saving throw. That's why. Yeah, so it will fail its saving throw, and this target will be emblazed with this incendiary grenade, and it shatters within the flames.
And then, regaining my balance, I see the last dummy here, and I'll run at it, and I'll jump as high as I can and take my hammer straight down from the top, try to bash it through its head.
Okay. Yeah, And this one is satisfying as it shatters with the weight of your hammer. At least it looks that way.
I take a couple deep breaths. Whew. Haven't done that in a while. And I walk through to the next room.
All right. As the party is proceeding through the rooms, Caden, you continue to kind of go in and out of consciousness, as you certainly do feel like you are being moved and you're still attached to this chair. And after who knows how much time has gone by, you swear that you've woken up a few times now to the sounds of differing voices. Would you like to do anything before the motion stops?
No, I'm waiting to see what's going on before I do anything.
Okay. In time, the movement does cease, and you hear what sounds like large machinery. You almost sound like you're at the back of a jet plane.
This is very uneasy.
Yeah, you feel like you're at the back of a jet plane, and there's some kind of whirring or mechanical noise that seems to whir somewhere nearby. It's obvious as it kind of rattles through very lightly, but it rattles enough for you to notice through the chair.
Have they left me alone? Am I can I still hear people around?
It's been in and out, but at the moment you do still hear muffled sounds that seem to be coming from nearby. Although a bit more difficult to make out, but you do hear what sounds like somebody close by.
Having fried my chair, are the braces and stuff still tight? Do you think I can get out, or do I have to do something to try and get out?
So the machine, when you had coursed some lightning through it, had actually shut down and gone into its kind of shut down state, which is locked in. Now, at the moment, if you try to muster some energy and move about, Caden will find that his braces are pretty tightly bound. It's not uncomfortable around your wrist and ankles, and around your neck is more kind of just fastened there rather than being strapped down. But you do find that it would be difficult at the moment with you're still feeling sluggish from you're not sure what, but it almost feels like you've been drugged as your consciousness kind of wanes in and out.
Do I think I'd be able to do anything with how I'm kind of with the drugs? Do I feel like I could do anything at all, or am I kind of pretty put down by them?
Give me you can choose between a constitution check or a wisdom check.
Constitution it is. Ability check or saving throw?
Ability check.
15.
As you kind of lightly struggle about, I mean, you know your body the best, and Caden has been through some things, and you do feel like this at the moment, without being able to tap into some of the unknown abilities that you might have thoughts around, it does seem to be a bit difficult to break free. This technology, or at least the machinery, does seem to be pretty advanced, at least from what you're used to. So perhaps from your home world, using that experience as reference, you may have, found some, what's the word I'm looking for, weakness in kind of the mechanism, or maybe some aging might have created an opportunity that Caden might think to himself that, it might be possible. However, this seems to be pretty bleeding edge technology and pretty clean, and you're not getting a strong vibe that you're going to be able to kind of brute force your way loose at the moment, especially without your vision, with your vision being impaired as well. You're not getting a whole lot of confidence.
The vision thing's really killing me. I could do some shit if I could see. Let me just yeah, the big thing is I have to be able to see for a lot of my shit. I guess I am just going to
And I just
Yeah, I'm gonna
realized-
have to just wait out till something happens.
You guys should have.
Because there's not a lot I can do, really.
I just realized that I was covering up half of the map. Let me know, guys. All right, yeah. So at the moment, you can't really get loose unless you have an idea here. However, as your mind is kind of scrambling for, what you might be able to pull off here, you do find that you do make out a couple of words from, again, the sound seems to be muffled, almost as if on the other side of an object. But you get the rough sound of a male and a female that seem to be talking to one another. And
I don't know if this would work, but prestidigitation, normally you can enhance your voice to speak louder. Could I enhance their voice so I could hear better?
that would be a stretch because that's impacting a different creature, and I don't think prestidigitation really allows for that. So,
Okay.
All right.
I'll just listen to what they're saying, I guess.
Yeah, so you can't make out a whole lot of words, but I am going to make you roll a perception check to try to, now that you've said that you're going to try to listen in.
One of my better ones, but okay, I'll take it. 18.
Cool. Yeah. So you hear them talking, and you hear the male seems to be a bit closer. I don't really know what we're supposed to be doing with these pods. Did Dynasty give you any more? Did Dynasty give you any other instructions? And you hear the muffled sound of some soft-spoken, more feminine voice, but you can't quite make out what she seems to be saying. Yeah, but
Did I get home alone? Am I forgotten?
You hear, though, the gentleman, yeah, but where are they sending these people to? And again, can't quite make out the female's voice, but the man continues. And they all said this was okay? That's quite surprising, but I guess no one really ever reads the fine print.
Fuck.
Well, these are the last ones. The algorithm seems to be putting these 8 together, so once we're done with this ship, then I guess we're moving on to the next one. But that's about the gist of what you're able to make out in their conversation. And a few moments later, after you hear a few more kind of mechanical sounds and the sounds of what appear to be like a big something kind of clasping, and you almost feel like you hear the hissing of hydraulics. But then your visor comes back on very briefly as you see the sign in front of your vision scroll across in this kind of cyber blue text. Subject secured. Activating cryo. And
oh no.
you begin to feel very cold.
Can I try to escape still? I have one rule check. If maybe I'll be able to get out.
Sure. What do you got?
I've got this, but it does require. Wait, come on. Where is it? This. Oops. Does that work? But it does say I have to see, and I have to target another creature. But I was wondering if I could target myself and just kind of guess beside me.
So, if you had done this before the console came back on,
Damn it.
I may have allowed you
I
to
was
try to
waiting.
roll to see yourself through the screen, but now that it's on, you're not going to get a good reflection out of that. But
Okay.
maybe another time we could try something here.
I was waiting to see what happened, but then. Fuck. Okay. We'll see what happens.
But as soon as you see that message, and as soon as your mind starts to scramble of what you can do, you start to feel very cold. And you feel almost a burning sensation running through your veins, originating at your wrists and ankle. And very, very quickly, your vision goes completely black as something happened. And
okay, you guys have a good game. I'll spend the entire game sleeping. Good luck, guys.
And let's move over here to the other party as they continue through their exercise. And Koji, you are going to come across another room. And this time, only 2 targets are found. Gosh, I wish I could get them to position properly. And this time, they are holding what appear to be weapons.
Alright, do they look like guns or are they more melee?
The one in the front, the one closer to you on the left, is holding what appears to be some kind like a baton of sorts, just kind of a cylindrical object. And the one in the back is holding what looks like a very plain but fancy Nerf gun of sorts. But it is holding what appears to be some kind of a handgun.
Alright, I'm gonna rush the one with the gun and take a swing at it.
All right. You go to make a swing at the hologram, and this one will actually dodge out of the way as it rolls under your arm and moves into the position adjacent.
Oh, reactive bastards.
You get one more turn before these act.
Alright, gonna kind of try to roundhouse kick the one with the gun again.
Okay. Oof.
There we go.
Yeah.
The 20s, man.
Any particular way you'd like to take this one out? You're successful.
Just try and make its head one with the wall.
Oh, yeah. No, that's absolutely possible. Yeah, there's now a nice temporary splatter against the wall behind it as they trickle down and create a bit of a serene kind of waterfall effect as the particles vanish before touching the ground.
That's what you get for taking my fucking bag.
What's in the bag? All right. You got one more opponent in this room as it moves up to you, and this one will take a swing at you.
Alright.
All right. It will connect, and you'll take 1 point of damage
Ow.
as you feel a bit of a shock on your forearm.
Fucking bastard. I'm gonna try and tackle him.
Okay. You tackle him so hard with Koji energy that you knock him to the ground as it shatters a tile back where it was.
Alright, what next? Ready to
Alright.
get this shit over with.
As you proceed to the final room. Yeah, there's chat boxes. Did you guys see that? All right, let's see here. Let me get the screen. Where can I position this? I'm just in the way. I'm going to go ahead and take myself out of the picture for the time being. All right. Dario, we're going to continue with you as you enter this room. And you will also find 3 opponents, 2 close on your right, yeah, and 1 on the far left corner.
All right. Let me see if this door opens up real quick. And as I enter in, looking, I guess to my right, I rush towards it and attempt to punch it in the face.
All right, let's see it. All right, this will connect and you will punch it. Nothing fancy, but a very practiced move.
He gets the job done as I moved over to the one now to the right. And now I attempt again to do a bit of a borrowing a reference from the 300 again. Do a bit of a Leonidas kick into the wall.
Okay.
Towards it. Into the wall.
All right, and you are successful, as not only do you kick it into the wall, but you follow through and leave a gaping kind of circle as the hologram dissipates around your impact.
Knowing that the final enemy is behind me, rather than use melee combat, I'm gonna take out my weapon of sorts that I brought with me. Would that be okay?
You go to reach for it, and you do manage to find it.
Take out my SMG, looking straight into the crosshairs as I point it towards the final enemy, and attempt a shot to the center of mass. Oh, no resources specified.
You can, I believe, click the attack, right?
Yes, and it says no resources specified.
No resources specified.
That probably has to do with ammo.
Yeah. Let me
You can.
take a look at your page.
Yeah.
All right, so you got your SMG. Yeah, no ammo to find here. Let's see here. And from our discussion, your SMG was energy based, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go here, and for now, I'm just going to import some arrows, and then we can convert that to energy cells.
I like it.
Click on one system and then type on another. But I was like, why isn't it typing? Very smooth. Okay. So that should have imported. Okay. Try again. We can rename it later.
Yes, it looks like it's working. As I attempt a shot to the center of mass.
Oh, yeah. You murder it as bullet holes riddle the target and it just shatters away.
Huh. Easy enough. As I walk towards the exit of this room, ready to go about whatever's next.
Okay. Now, Maxine, as you enter the room, it's a little different for you. When you enter the room, you actually see a hologram appear in front of your face that is in the design of the Dynasty interface.
Mm-hmm.
And below it, there's a little envelope that says, "You have a new message."
I'll go for the message.
All right. Opening the message, you quickly scan it over and find that this was a message sent to you from the higher ups. And very briefly, it just says, "If you would like to skip this segment, please select yes or no." And below it, you have a toggle, or not a toggle, but an option to select yes or no. Further below that, you also have the attached message that says private, what's the word? No, secure mission details is what you see attached to this message.
Yeah, if I could take a look at that. For anything else, I think that's what I'm going to go for.
Okay. You select the attached message, and I could either send you something privately or I could read it aloud. Do you have a preference? If not, I will read it out loud.
Yeah, I think being open with it is fine.
Yeah. So the message is directed to you from a superior within Anubis Security, a name that you haven't personally interacted with, but the message itself says, "Maxine, Dust Patriot, we are expecting to see you added to a group that contains a VIP, surname Akiyama. Your mission will be to gather information detailing their intention here, as well as returning any information you can regarding Akiyama activities. Once you accept or reject the message above, this message will be removed and deleted permanently.
Sounds good. I think I will go ahead and bypass this segment here then.
Okay. As you click to bypass, the area around you actually begins to dissipate away. And you see very briefly the training room without all the augmented reality and holographic stuff. Then even that begins to fade away. And you're left in a dark chamber. And this is a chamber that you actually recognize from some training that you had done before within Dynasty. It seems to be kind of a, what's the word? It starts with an S. Solitary confinement type dome of sorts. And Maxine has probably spent some time kind of in the Anubis security kind of meditation practice exercises that they perform here. But once you selected to skip over this segment, you were brought here, and the previous record of the message being sent has been all but erased. And as you look around, it's a quiet room, black room. You can almost hear your own thoughts, but at the moment, there doesn't seem to be any indication of where to go, what to do. Instead, all this tells you is that the place that you're currently in isn't real.
All right. Yeah, for the time being, I think I'm just gonna kind of sit there and focus on a little bit on what I've been informed here. Okay, take a minute to process that.
All right. And I think this is probably a good time for us to take a brief little break. I know a couple of you guys did as well, but go top off your beverage, go clean the pipes, and maybe we'll be back here in a couple minutes. How's that sound?
Yeah,
Sounds
good
good.
spot.
Hopefully not a ton of pipe cleaning, but
Hopefully what?
hopefully not a ton of pipe cleaning. But yeah.
Well,
Just makes me think of
Yeah,
the
with
hopefully
the,
not
with
a
the
bunch.
TOS.
Sort of
You would talk about cleaning.
No plumbers allowed.
Yeah, it makes me think of the start of a bad adult film. Clean pipes.
I usually skip this part.
There's only... Yep. All right, guys. We will be back. Thank you all for hanging tight, and we'll see you all in a couple minutes.
All right, see ya.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are back. Still waiting on one more. But in the meantime, we're just going to be chilling here for a little bit. Looks like I'm going to go ahead and actually just move myself manually on this screen here. Whoop. There we go. There we go. That'll do.
You need like a slide whistle sound effect for that.
Like that?
Oh, perfect.
I don't know how consistent I'll be with that, but there we go. And then, let's see if this finally pops in. God, it's so bizarre. It's making me frustrated. I saw it a second ago, and just seems like it only likes a couple of you. Yeah, you're working. You were working.
I wonder if it has to do with like speaking.
It definitely does react to your voice, but when you're not speaking, it should be pulling in the same image. So the fact that nothing appears is unusual. And I don't know if that's an issue of the way I set up the interface here, or if it's something else, but gosh, had it all working and typical in Go Live fashion. It's like, no, we're not doing that for you today.
The audience will use their imaginations to
Yeah.
figure out whose voice this is.
But how's everyone doing out there as we wait for our last party member to return?
I'm doing good.
Well, you're having the best nap of your life right now.
Yeah. Well, I have a headset on and I was literally like washing my face in the ensuite next to you. Like, I could just. It's the thing is, the sucks that I disabled my toilet and my sink and my shower, so I literally only have a mirror. But
Living like a
Still
hobo,
like-
bud.
yeah, I had to disable the ensuite because the plumbing was in the way, so I had to rip it out so I could keep working. And now I only have a working toilet and a working shower. So my other bathroom, literally, the sink doesn't work in it either. So
Dang. How do you live like that?
I brush my teeth in the kitchen.
All right. Yeah, I don't really know why the image reaction is not coming in. Too bad. All right. There's too many people. We're overloading them. I got to pay for the advanced edition or something. Didn't buy the DLC. Maybe if I can refresh it. You know what? Here's a trick. Let's see if I disconnect. Be right back, folks. All right. And then...
Looks like it brought up two of them. Two of us.
yeah. Probably just overloading the back end. It's like, you got how many people with you right now? Please. VTubers don't have that many people they know. Is our fifth back. Hello, hello.
I am back.
Sam, you
I don't
You
know
are
if we're
back.
live.
Hey, Sam.
Perfect. We are live.
Cool.
All right.
We got a lot of mean comments from different communities.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I went on Reddit immediately, and they were like just flaming me.
Dang. I would too. I mean, you probably deserve it. Well, everyone ready to go? All freshened up, powdered up, and cup half full?
Aye, Captain.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right, we're missing all but one, it seems like. So I'm just going to leave it there. We're not going to touch it. Hopefully it all kicks in. And we get our last Dari. There he is. All right. Finally. All right. So when you guys speak, we should now at least see images of each of you. At least
Huzzah!
your players. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, with myself moved aside a little bit here, let's continue. As Caden You heard a little bit of a light conversation between some folks. You couldn't really see who they were or where they were from, but with the sounds of machinery and being moved about, or at least you get the vibe that you were, after hearing the conversation, your visor conveniently turned back on as it got, we'll say powered back on. And it gave you a message about something about activating cryo, and thereafter you felt a heat through your veins and a chill on your skin, and things started to quickly go darker than they already were as you drifted off once again.
I swear this starship said free candy on the outside.
You probably shouldn't have gone into that one. And for the rest of you, as you continue on the kind of basic simulation to evaluate your skill sets, Koji, as you finally reach the end in the final room, there doesn't seem to be any holographic images of humanoids waiting for you here. Instead, there is simply a single door at the top center with a sign off on the side that says congratulations, and you have completed the course in, math is hard, it's 18 and then 23 seconds with some change.
Well, that's anticlimactic.
As it was.
Where do I go from here?
So there's a door, and next to it was the congratulations, you have completed, a little timestamp of how long it took you, and the door simply says next above it, which leads into kind of a dark corridor, which unlike the previous corridor, this one is completely unlit, which is a bit unusual.
Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna start taking some steps down the hallway.
All right. And as you do that, you will continue forward. Dario, in the room that you are in, you see 2 training dummies, but for the sake of the progression, you guys are going to be able to clear these just fine. And we're going to go ahead and have you guys complete this as well. So we can go ahead and move on to where the party is able to finally meet. As each of you make your way through the kind of training course, the evaluation course, you all manage to succeed, and all of you will succeed within roughly 20 to 30 seconds. Dario, you, based on your current performance, are probably looking at about 25 seconds, and then Sam, you're probably looking around 24, 25 as well. And Maxine, you didn't even have to do it, so you've got the shortcut. But once you've completed the training course and begin to head down the hallways, I'm going to drag you guys back to the main screen here. Not sure why it keeps moving me to a funky position. Could have sworn I had saved the position already, like multiple times. Try resetting it again. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Once you enter that hallway, all of you begin to just see nothing, feel nothing. In fact, each of you instead maybe are going through some dreams specific to your backstories. But Caden, I need you to roll me another Constitution saving throw.
Sure. If I can figure out where I left my page. There it is.
Nice. Caden, you actually come around and you feel a little bit better. Your skin still feels a bit on the cold side, and your consciousness is still kind of fading in and out, but you catch a brief, not really a vision of something, but you feel and hear some commotion. First, the feeling. You feel like you are falling, and it won't stop. And not like some carnival ride. No, this one is not stopping. It actually is probably the worst sense of the stomach being pushed up into your gut feeling that you have ever experienced. As in the short time that you are awake, it goes on and just feels like it will not end.
And they just dropped me on the freaking planet, didn't they? Can I see anything yet, or is this visor still blocking my line of sight?
Everything is still kind of in the same position. Though you're coming around, you're still in a bit of a kind of a stiff position and unable to really grasp much of what's around you. This happens. Say again.
Go.
This happens a few times in the course of. You're not sure if it was as short as 20 minutes or if it's been as long as a few hours, but you go in and out. And as the feeling continues and as you come around each time, the noise that accompanies it, that accompanies the falling feeling gets louder and louder and almost screeching as in the last moments of your being conscious, you suddenly feel a abrupt impact, a stop, a counterforce. And then it gives way and you feel that drop briefly again. And then you hear and feel another shake and tumble and impact that kind of jolts you side and side. And at this point, perhaps it was good that you were in this contraption, as
I was thinking that's why I didn't get out.
Yeah. As seems to be the only reason why you're not being flung around, as being fairly well fastened into this seat seems to be giving you some form of you're grounded in sorts in whatever it is that's happening outside. But after the final crash, your vision goes black once again. And the next time it comes to, it's met with a blaring sound. Brr, 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 as something seems to be going off in the immediate vicinity.
Is there a hissing sound accompanied by that blaring noise?
How perceptive of you, because yes, there is a hissing sound. However, it doesn't seem to be originating anywhere nearby. It seems to be distant.
At this point, I might as well just wait. Whatever's happened already happened. I'll see if this thing opens up on me or not.
Okay. You sit tight, seeing that your wrists and ankles are still currently still tightly bound to the chair. And by that token, Maxine, you, while you are in this kind of meditation chamber that you don't know how long you've been in here, whether it's been days, months, or simply a few minutes, but another prompt from the Dynasty interface appears ahead in front of you. And the message, there's a prompt that says, new message once again.
I'll go ahead and take a look.
And upon opening the message, you see a simple message that seems to have come from some sort of non-human entity, something artificial, very common within Dynasty. But the message simply reads, touchdown successful. Would you like to exit? Yes, no.
I will accept.
All right. Accepting, the message deletes itself, and the chamber that you are within begins to fall apart around you, almost like a lotus flower, as what you see in front of you briefly remains dark and black, but as something lifts itself off of your head, you find that you are now encased not only in the chair, but there seems to be some kind of a glass dome that you are within, that the chair seems to also be within. And you have a rough idea of what this might be, being part of Dynasty, in short. But you find that your straps around your wrists and ankles detach themselves in a single sweep as the visor above your head releases itself as well. And
Predictable.
your... Say what?
How predictable I knew this was going to happen.
I mean, that's
This
how
is
you guys
Caden's
meet.
train of thought in it. Like, yeah, waiting for that.
But Maxine, you will find that the machine pretty much just releases you. And as you briefly look around, you find that you are in some kind of what looks to be a drop shuttle. You've seen this, similar contraptions that normally would have seats and not actually these pods that seem to be kind of centered into the loading area here. There seems to be 8 pods total, yours included, that are lined up. To your left and behind you, there seems to be other pods that are closed. And closer to the front of the ship, as you look towards that direction, is actually pretty heavily damaged. As not only has it completely been torn open and apart, you also find that there is a large stalagmite that is penetrating 2 of the pods. And one of the pods has just been crushed by a boulder, it looks like. So there is conveniently 4 pods that remain.
I am gonna kind of give myself a once over, see if I am in like at 100%. See if I have any issues with the state that I've been in for however long I've been in that state.
You look over yourself. Everything seems to be in order. Your body still feels a bit tight, as if it's still kind of warming up of sorts. But looking at the console that is next to the chair that you were in, you will notice that there is some vitals that were at least showing what was last recorded, having your sensors being unbound from you now. And the panels seem to indicate that, at least leading up until you were released, your vitals look good. The heart rate was a bit slow, but you have a good idea that's probably because of the cryo.
Can I go around and check out any information for the other pods?
Sure. As you walk along the intact pods, one of them seems to be cracked, but otherwise intact. There seems to be the names and some brief information, as well as the vitals for 4 other individuals who you can't quite make out within the pods. However, the names on the panels indicate that these people are named Dario Cortez, Sam Stonewell, Caden Lumen, and one that pops out to you, Koji Akiyama.
All right, that's more or less what I was looking for. I'm gonna look for gear storage.
Yep.
He just leaves us hanging.
You guys will be fine.
You'll be fine. As you look
What's
around,
the worst that could happen?
there's a
I
few
hear him.
things. Good point. You can give me a perception roll.
Sure. Nope.
Yeah, no. you feel like you're hearing things, but there's so much going on around you that it's a bit difficult to make out that there's a person amongst the noise. Now, Maxine, as you go and look around for like weapons, you can choose perception or investigation with advantage.
All right, I'll go ahead and make that a perception check. That's a 22.
Cool. Yeah, the general layout of this pod seems very familiar to you, and you immediately kind of walk along the outer wall across from where the pods were fashioned. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, fashioned, right?
Fascist.
Anyways, the pods along the middle, right, and then along the outer walls, there seems to be what appears to be like a not only a weapon rack or a clothes rack, but also like a locker towards the base that can be opened up. And this seems to exist across each pod.
Neat. I want to get my gear specifically. I want to suit up.
Yeah. So heading over to across from your pod, you will find all of your expected equipment. And a half-eaten granola bar.
Well, I'm definitely going to tear into the rest of that granola bar.
And do nothing for the rest of the game.
I'm gonna inspect the granola bar, make sure it's still in working condition before I tear into it, and then I'm going to look into seeing if there's let's see. This place really isn't in great shape, huh? Yeah, I think I want to check out the pods, see if there is means of doing a wakey uppy do.
A what?
I want to see if I can get up the inhabitants.
Gotcha. All right, Maxine, you get all your equipment that was expected, as well as within the locker, actually that's underneath where all of your equipment was stashed. You're actually going to find that there was some extra items within. And from there, you will find your starting pack, which I briefly talked about in our session 0. So if you have not added an explorer's pack or equivalent, feel free to do that now, as well as 2 health injectors, which are basically health potions that you can actually use as a bonus action rather than a full action.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. And making your way over to the other pods, you don't really know much about the mechanism in this pod that they're in. It looks very similar to like a fusion of a cryopod mixed with one of those kind of high-tech Anubis training simulation virtual systems that they have. But on the medical panel, there is a big red button that says release on each of the consoles next to each pod.
I'm gonna pick one of the ones that's not Koji at random to test hitting that button out on first.
Sure. Hit.
Just see if they survive the process.
Would you like to roll a 1d3 or a 1d6? Up to you.
Absolutely, that's a 1.
All right. The door that you approach says Sam Stonewell.
All right, I'll see if I can do the release on that pod.
Yep. And without any complaints, as soon as you touch it, the machine begins to hiss. Sam, you feel a bit groggy, but you begin to come around, almost like you just had a bad hangover. But your vision, a bit not blurry, but it's a bit strained with the blaring kind of emergency light that flashes beyond. But you come around, and I guess now that we have some interaction, Maxine, why don't you describe a little bit about what Sam sees in front of him?
Yeah, Maxine is, especially with the gear and everything. Maxine is about a 6 foot tall woman, fairly muscular build, very short cut hair, like completely buzzed on the sides, kind of swept to the side a little bit. Just this vibrant blue hair and eyes, quite possibly fake in both accounts. Who's to say? In this dark and kind of a like a plum-ish color suit, like Under Armour suit with elements of like dark black armor pieces worn over it. Doesn't seem to have any particular current emotion or anything on the face, other than maybe a little bit of curiosity, just to, as I'm currently thinking about whether or not this guy is going to survive the process, because I don't pay attention to how these kinds of things work. This isn't my specialty.
As Sam, you kind of look up and see this female ahead of you. You recognize briefly that you're in the chair that you were ushered to on Bora Station. And looking around, this clearly is not the same chamber that you were in earlier, and you're feeling a bit disoriented, but why don't you describe who comes out of this pod?
You see Sam. You know he's a dwarf because you can tell by his short and studded figure. His hair is tan and brown and unkempt. He's got a beard that kind of just comes off the front of his armor. His armor is covering his chest and his shoulders, and the front of his shins down to his feet. It's a big bulky armor that he's wearing, and you can see mostly his face. You can't see his skin, his body yet, but with his face, you can tell it's wrinkled. He looks a little older than you expect an average man to be. You can see from him around his chest, he's got a bandolier type thing, where you can see syringes and grenades and a bunch of other items. And in his back, he's got a warhammer, and his side, he's got a pistol. And as he looks up and he sees you, he goes, "Oh, man, my head hurts. It's more than the bug with muffled hoxes. The fuck happened?"
First things first, I didn't fully understand, but that's normal. You'll get used to it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna point him to where the locker is at and say, if you have anything extra you're looking for, it's probably in there.
Sam, as you eventually make your way to the locker, as you kind of readjust to your situation, you will find all your expected equipment, as well as you will gain the same, as well as everyone else in the party here will find a starting pack that was complimentary, compliments of Dynasty, along with 2 health injectors.
So we all got 2 health injectors?
Yep, everyone will get that. So with that, there is 1 pod with a crack on the shield, as well as 2 more intact pods among the remaining intact cryopods.
I would definitely like to go down the line for the other surviving ones that aren't Koji just yet, because one surviving is a good sign, but really want to make sure I know what I'm dealing with here. We should have people for this, and we don't. So
sure.
I'm
Do you
improvising.
want to open the cracked one or the uncracked one?
I'll go with the cracked one.
Okay. As you approach the cracked one, the cracked pod, Do you hit the release button?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Hit the release.
Caden, you are suddenly shocked as a loud hissing noise begins to surround you, and what feels like warm air mixed with cool misty fog begins to blow up against you, and this might be the end. You might not make it out of this. But moments later, your vision flashes to white, then to red as you see blaring flashes, and when you go to put your hands to shield them, you find that your arms and legs have been unclasped. And before you see Maxine, and why don't you explain who steps out of this pod?
So Maxine and Sam would recognize me, but Maxine would see the most rugged, beat-up guy she's probably ever seen. Looks like he doesn't take very good care of himself, probably. Really rugged clothes, not the usual stuff you'd see on the space station there. It's not quite like skin and hides, definitely not like new fancy clothes. They're definitely very beat up attire. He has blue eyes, a light beard of brown and medium length brown hair. Also quite, not totally unkempt, but definitely not done up nice or anything. And he would look livid as you saw him. As he finally, I guess I can get out of the pod now. Like, I'm not restrained anymore.
You sure can. You're free.
I would burst out of the pod and just start yelling, "Goddamn things! I never trusted these things. I got stuck in this thing. How long have I been in this thing?" And I'm just gonna be absolutely pissed.
Give me a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
And a Constitution saving throw. Is this the? Oh, that's wrong. Saving throw. Not great.
Not great. You also need to roll it again for the disadvantage. I don't see it there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the disadvantage. There you go. Worse.
Oh no.
Oh, actually, that's a... Yeah, so...
I'm just gonna go face plant straight over, just keel over the second I get out. Face first of the day.
Don't worry, it's worse. The sudden movement and the sudden abrupt outburst right after cryo, your body has an adverse reaction to it as you, mid-sentence towards the tail end of what you said, just uncontrollably just begin heaving as you vomit. And once that subsides, your head grows light and you're not feeling fantastic, and the room begins to not just spin, but it's doing complete 360s and turning upside down, and you fall on your face unconscious.
Great entrance. Okay, sounds good.
You shouldn't have rolled a 1.
I know. I'm not mad. It's hilarious. I'm just gets that pissed livid and just keels over face first with the deck.
Yeah.
Just observing it's just kind of shaking my head. That is fully not what I was expecting. Figured either dead in the seat or up and about like normal. That's somewhere in between.
Sam, hearing that voice,
Don't worry. He's a fucking lightweight. I drank him once.
You recognize him clearly. All right, there are
0 to 100 there. I was pissed and just out.
All right, I guess one left before we really put this experiment to the test. So I'm gonna go ahead for Dario's pod.
All right. It's in the same fashion as the other pods, a brief series of sounds, hissing, whirring, mist kind of separates out from under the glass as it opens, and you hear the clasp release as Dario, you slowly come to, and in a bit more of a, I imagine, a relaxed posture, lay in the bed and open your eyes, or chair.
Where am I?
That's a good question. We've touched down. Don't be alarmed when you look around. You're in one piece. That's all that matters. And then I'm going to point out the locker for his pod. Say, your things should be in there.
And Dario, who steps out of this pod?
Out of this pod comes Dario Cortez. He's a slender man. A little tall, with a bit of a weathered face, with gray eyes and a black beard and salt and pepper hair. He is very calm in nature, understanding, but clean kept clothes. Not very assuming whatsoever.
Dario, as you make your way up slowly, you will find there is a shorter statured individual who could be a human, but could also be a technician, as you've heard of them. You also find that somebody is possibly dead on the floor next to you.
I look at the short stature guy. What's wrong with the other one? He didn't take too well to the trip?
Oh, you gotta be fine. Yeah, he needs to pick him up. Yeah, help me up, pick him up. He's a little heavy for me. But get him up, get him on his back, and he'll come to before you know it.
Thanks for finally picking me up. I'm pretty sure his face first in my freaking vomit. So thanks for that.
my friend, you're gonna have to take it easy next time, alright? Don't want to use all of our energy now. We don't know what lies ahead.
Are either of you, by any chance, a medic?
I've had some practice in healing folks. In my last crew, I was the medic. Are you hurt?
Fantastic. Maybe look him over and make sure he's not dead or going to die. I'm gonna go look into friend over here and just gesture to the last.
There's no need for this guy to look him over. I've drank with him once. He's just a little lightweight. I'm sure he just got dizzy. Give him 30 minutes on his back. He'll get himself up.
Your confidence is concerning.
What is he in 30 minutes? And if he's not up, then I take a look.
Sure.
I do turn him around so his face is up.
Okay, yeah, and there's like this kind of, not really sure if it's yellow or green, but yeah, he's seen better days.
Fantastic.
All right. And as you all kind of come to, with the exception of the final member here, you will slowly start to kind of recognize the space that you're within. It seems to be some kind of a spacecraft. Very, very, what's the word? It's a very tight kind of enclosure. Seems to be built for a very particular purpose of like long distance travel, or not built for comfort, we'll put it that way. It was built for a particular getting something from one location to another, and if the center of this kind of open space that you guys are all in are any indication where the cargo, not cargo, well, maybe, but the cryopods are lined up, you imagine that was the shipment. And in towards the front of the vessel is completely smashed. You have no idea what or who or what may have been piloting this craft. And unfortunately, 3 of the pods towards the front have been utterly destroyed. But 1 pod still seems to be intact. That remains. And Maxine, I believe you are approaching it?
Yep. I'm going to go to release Koji Akiyama.
You do so. And a series of the same noises and mechanical movements. Koji, your awareness starts to come back, and you are assaulted with an unknown place and a very obnoxious siren somewhere in the background.
All right, kind of piggybacking off of something you said earlier. Koji kind of comes to from what looks to be nightmares. He visibly sweating, visibly distressed, comes barreling out of the cryopod. Fuck, kind of like falls forward, slams the ground a little bit. Oh, fuck. Definitely in distress, kind of shaking around. You guys see a what looks to be a 6'2" Asian man, built like a brick shit house, wearing a two-piece suit, shirt of it buttoned down to about his or unbuttoned down to about his belly button. He's got a cherry blossom tree from his left, from the left side of his chest up to the left side of his chin, and he is looks more anxious, looks more panic attack as opposed to actually angry. Where the fuck is my bag?
The locker, right over there. Should have all your things. I am going to suggest you calm down. The last person who got up out of the pod throwing a fit passed out in his own vomit, so...
Yeah, suggest this, and he's gonna kind of stand up and angrily walk over to the locker. Try and open it. Is it like a keypad? Like, what's the device?
There is no device. It's just an old locker that they didn't even bother to put any sort of mechanism to close. Or to lock, I mean.
Alright,
so
he's gonna...
opens right up.
Cool. He's gonna... Is his bag in there?
Your bag is sure enough in there, and...
Alright, as he takes out his duffel bag, he's gonna, rip off his suit jacket, kind of toss it on the ground, and start rolling up his sleeve a little bit. Need something to take the fucking edge off. God fucking... Unzip the duffel bag, and I think we agreed on, what, a count of 20?
I believe 20 sounded right, yep.
Alright, take out a hit of Psycho G, and, God... Just inject it, I guess?
Yep.
Is that the...
Yep, it's an injector, and Psycho G is a narcotic that... let's see here. Did I have it prepared? I did not have it prepared. So we'll reveal what this is more as it becomes more revealed. But Koji, you begin to feel much better having taken some of Psycho G.
Oh...
As I see this angry man get up and go to his bag and shout, I start taking out my tricorder and I try to identify what's wrong with Caden.
Sure. I don't remember. Did the tricorder have an effect built in, or was it just the medical device?
It only identifies medical issues.
Okay. If it didn't have its own built-in effect, then give me a medicine roll. All right. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him, which, yeah, doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him. You scan him twice just to be certain, and it comes back saying everything is fine.
God, he's just sleeping. I'll leave him be for now, and then I'll walk towards the rest of the group, and especially the one who woke me up. And I'll ask her, you were the first one up. Do you know where we are?
Oh, we've touched down, clearly enough. Unfortunately, it looks like we're down few bodies. And I take it our landing wasn't as intended. Not fully, at least, perhaps. But it was close enough.
I've been on some rough ships, and that might have been the worst landing I've ever had.
Oh, you can only ever hope to touch down in one piece, right?
As the alarms blaze constantly, again, still going burr, burr, there is a door that appears to exist towards the rear, a hatch of sorts, for loading in various supplies or whatever is going to be transported. The front doesn't seem to contain any way out, as it seems to be facing what gravity would suggest to be downwards, into just pummeled into oblivion in whatever it bumped into. But yeah, there seems to be a available door towards the rear of the craft.
Well, how long do you figure he's gonna be out?
I suppose we go out that way.
Oh, might as well check while we wait for him to come to.
I'm just imagining all of you standing in a circle around Caden, just covered in his own.
Let me go on one knee. I go on one knee for a second, trying to slap the face of the unfortunate person sleeping on the floor. Hey, come on.
Caden, give me a... Actually, here, Dario, give me a... What is it? Give me a D4 roll as you slap him. Or you can choose 1 to 4, depending on how strongly you want to slap him. Your choice. Roll or... Yeah. All right, so you're lightly kind of trying to jar him awake. Caden, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Yep. Just pull the sheet again here. I've misplaced it. Heck.
Double-clicking your token also brings it up.
Save throw or?
Yep, saving throw.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Nice. Well, that saves me some work. But you
Waking him up.
come around.
You just...
Yep, the magical gentle tap on the face is all it took.
Looks like that's all he needed then. Didn't need your little machine that you had. All I needed was a nice little love tap. Come on, my friend. No time for sleeping anymore.
Caden, you come too, but
Okay.
you're not... There's a smell that kind of assaults your nostrils and your face feels sticky, and it's...
What happened? Where are we?
Well, first suggestion is I think you might need a bath. But secondly, I'll allow our friend here to tell us what's happened. As I look to Maxine.
What's happened is we've all woken up out of our pods and realized that maybe didn't have a gentle landing, and we have to find our way in wherever we are. There's a door. I have a gun. Let's go. I'm just gonna draw the pistol off my belt and approach the door.
As you approach the door, once you get within any degree of proximity to the door, there's actually a panel that lights up to your left, beside the door, that has not only Dynasty but AbsCorp's name on the title of it. And the message reads, "Congratulations, survivors, you have made it to Aurora Green. Dynasty believes that a core has formed on this planet. Those who are able to discover the location of said core will be greatly rewarded. Otherwise, each discovery or each artifact returned to AbsCorp will result in monetary profit. If you understand, please hit yes or no, and the door ahead will open. Please make this decision as a group, as the choice, as you only have one choice, or one chance, sorry, to make your choice.
Did he just say the code? We're here for a fucking code.
I feel like we've been kidnapped. At least I feel like I was kidnapped.
Were you given a form, paperwork? You signed?
Yes. And I
Then
proceeded to
you've chosen to
lock
be.
that machine and drugged, and then I woke up here and not exactly a glowing review, I will say.
I'm incredibly sure that someone cares. I'm just gonna hit yes on it.
As you do that, the alarm suddenly stops and the door slowly opens, and where some of you may have expected there to be light on the other side, instead, no light shines through the other side as the door begins to open into kind of a ramp. Instead, you see in front of you what appears to be a dark, damp cave wall that covers a good portion of the left, but there seems to be an opening off to the right that you can all safely get around and see where you might be.
I mean,
Wait, where's my stuff? I didn't have much, but I had a bag, and a dagger, a knife. Yes.
This is why you don't panic as soon as you get out of this thing? This is a locker?
I didn't even get it. That thing malfunctioned, and then I got drugged, and then I was falling, and then I was a little panicked, okay?
Look, you're in one of the pods that survived. It's a good thing.
I'm not feeling so lucky right now. Do you know what's happening on this planet?
I'm familiar.
So you know it's like an utter waste, right?
I mean, that's why they're putting out the call to bring people in.
Yeah, that's why the station's packed, because everyone was abandoning the planet.
I think the sticky one is right. Like, why are we going on this death mission for some people? I mean,
because you went to the meeting, you signed the paperwork, you accepted the job.
I accepted to do it myself. Not sure I accepted to do with a few other people, though. How do I know that you are gonna be watching my back as I'm going out there risking my life?
Well,
There is...
you don't. And if you don't want to be successful and you want to get home, follow me. And I will walk out and I'll turn on one flashlight on my armor that just lightly shows the steps in front of me, and I'll start heading out.
Cool.
As they leave, I'm gonna be the last one out of the vehicle, whatever this is. And when no one's looking, I'm going to subtle spell prestidigitation and like dust myself off, and all the vomit and everything is just gonna be gone after that.
Okay. And with
If
that,
it looks over, I just dust myself off, but you guys might notice later that I no longer smell or stink or any of that.
I have moved you all. Did that work?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
I do still need to make some adjustments to my vision using your tokens, but you find yourselves again in a small cavern of sorts, and this space that you currently occupy houses the spaceship, the shuttle that you were within, and to the, well, using the map as the cardinal directions of a map, to the south there seems to be a kind of an opening around the shuttle that leads to some other space. However, you don't really hear too much, but in the distance you do hear the sound of water droplets, the sound of what you believe is wind, and a series of kind of clitter clatter noises that seem to be echoing across the walls. But seeing how this is our first night, and this is where I believe we will be calling it, as you will all then explore this cavern next week on Horizon Exploration.
We made it alive. One episode in.
Yeah.
Some of
Yes,
us better than
alive.
words.
So
Yeah.
So sessions, right, for the audience are going to be generally 2 to 3 hours long, just to be respectful of everyone's time on a Saturday night. But yeah, let us know what you thought in the comments. If you enjoyed it, if you're looking forward to see more, let us know. Let us know who your favorite character is, who's doing a good job. I could be the worst, that's fine. But yeah, to all of you here, what'd you guys think? You made it.
Fun.
Had a great time.
know,
Looking forward to it.
yeah,
Alright.
it's good. Definitely had that moment where it's like, that confidence is concerning. But then at the tail end there, it's like, I see the benefit of your confidence now.
Yeah, and to our audience, thank you guys for hanging out and powering through it. It's fun to have you guys here. This is, I believe, for all of us here, the first, not only, well, the first Foundry campaign for, I believe, all but one, and for all of us here, including myself, the first live stream campaign, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be a lot of new experiences for a lot of us, and Foundry is a very nifty toolbox that I need many more hours to play with. But we'll get there, and I look forward to revealing more of the lore behind the Yasuhiro88ch channel, as well as expanding the world of Horizon Exploration, along with the backstories of each of these characters, which if you haven't gotten a little taste of, we've been planning this for, what, a good month or two? How long has it been with your backstories? It's been like a good month, I think.
At least that.
It's
Yeah.
been a good month. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys. I've been sitting on this character for a while. I was
Nice.
on this character for probably a year plus, where I'm thinking, man, this would be so fun to play.
Oh, you're in deep when you have backup characters, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I remember actually a few of us here, one of our first campaigns ended up evolving, and we talked about this a little bit on our Discord, which was just you make characters and we just pit them up against each other. Yeah, that was a good time. I learned a lot about builds back then.
Absolutely.
All right, well, any
Can't wait for
final...
the Battle Royale episode.
Oh, yeah, because, well, the thing is, and one of you guys had asked me this, I believe, during our session 0, can you expect others on planet side with you? And, well, you'll have to wait and see.
Tune into Tuesday episodes.
Tuesday, get the fuck out of here, man. We're playing Sunday. What are you playing on Tuesday? All
Are
right.
you telling me we're not playing every day of the week?
Oh, gosh, I'd be ruined. I wouldn't be able to... I don't know. Once a week, I struggled. Like, should I do it once a week? Like, that's tough. I'm impressed with anyone who pulls it off successfully, because I know, for me at least, it is very stressful. But we're gonna make it happen. All right, everyone. Any last comments before we wrap up the night?
No, that was a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah, thank you as always, Jam.
audience,
Had an absolute blast.
listeners, viewers, friends, folks who like D&D and all that there is in between. We'll be back here next Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Be there, get yourself geared up, and let's go on a little space adventure with Horizon Exploration. So until next time, everyone, have a great one, and as always, take it easy.